guys, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. Today, in today's video, we're going to be doing the best makeup of December 2021. I'm super excited. This is the end of 2021. It's been a great year. There's also been some hard losses this year as well, and I actually had a cold for quite a while. Luckily, I tested negative, but I had a cold that had so much phlegm, like phlegm. I have my tea here because I really want to talk about the favorites for December, and I finally have my voice back to do that. So let's get started. The first product that I think is one of the best makeup items that has entered my collection lately, one that I've also reviewed thoroughly for you guys, is actually the Mini Biba palette by Natasha Denona. So this is a very interesting palette because of some of the discrepancies within the quality of the shades, in particular the mattes. It's actually made my favorites for this month because I don't actually use that matte for all over the lid kind of super dark look. I just do it for detailed work and it works perfectly fine. Otherwise, this has been a look that I have really enjoyed replicating. I did a really nice one in my video for the review of this palette where I did apply every single shade to create the look as a whole. It was actually really stunning. And I really enjoyed working with this palette. A lot of you guys gave me some really sweet compliments about the look that I created as well, that the look suited me, that you really enjoyed the colors against my brown eyes and how they worked together, so that was super sweet. But like I said, as long as I can make this matte over here just for detailed, smoky, like effects to my looks, everything works perfectly fine for me and my preferences. As soon as you do something with a lot more of that shade, it will start to turn out a little bit uneven, a little bit patchier, and a little bit harder to work with. Still made my favorites because of how I use the palette though. I do think this is a really nice buy if you are after that particular look. But it's also not necessarily her best mini in the world, so I do have a video where I talk about all of her minis that I've ever reviewed, and if you're interested in that video, I will link it in the description box so you guys can see what actually are the best minis in my opinion. I want to talk about this next palette that doesn't have one dud in it. This is the Lights Camera Lashes by Tarte Cosmetics. It's actually one of their little mini palettes in the collector's set this year. You can't get these separately, unfortunately, yet, but it is something that if you are able to get it or you want to have all of these palettes in your collection, this is my favorite one in the set. I absolutely love it. I love the tones in here. Some people might think it's kind of boring or it's kind of like, you know, pinks and what else is new from Tarte, but I love these. These are colors that really speak to me. I know a lot of other girls really love these colors too, which is why they make them so often. So this is one that also has some Aspen palette kind of elements to it for those of you that miss that palette. Every time I think of that palette, I think of Mel, and I think that this is one that if you love that palette, you're going to love this little mini as well. It just captures enough of the characteristics of that palette without being a duplicate. It's certainly not the same shades repeated, but it is one that has absolutely beautiful consistency and has very similar elements to the Aspen palette that all of you guys really love. As I'm talking, you can see that now my congestion's coming back. Oh, I was on such a good note here, shoot. So the next palette is actually one that's on the brink of being discontinued. If you're able to find it, I think Sephora Canada still has it. If you are able to find it elsewhere, like on Natasha Denona's website, it's one of my favorite palettes she has ever made. This is gold, and I've actually been pulling this one out a lot during the holidays. This is one that I use typically to get a really beautiful, very multi-dimensional gold look on my eye. I really love this one because it just has gold done super well. There's so many different ways to do gold. There's so many different shimmer textures in here. We have that really cool pop of blue for that smokiness. So cohesive and actually works really well with the gold. So I love this palette. At first glance, it almost looks like, okay, that's it. Like it doesn't look like a ton there, like versatility wise, but I really love this one. I think it's got a lot more than you think. The golds are definitely the standout, of course, in this palette, but I love the blues to add that depth. And I also love how you can start with all of these very basic shades as well that we're all familiar with. It does have all of her favorite classic formulations. She is known for the consistency of these is fantastic, the creaminess. There's some slight fallout with some of these gold shimmers, simply because they have a lot of flakiness to them, some of them. But otherwise, just do your eyes first. That's kind of my biggest tip for that. But I love this one. As a whole, it's fantastic. It's one I've been picking up during the holiday a ton. Now, speaking of the lip that I am wearing today, a lot of you guys kept asking me what red lip I was wearing recently, and this lipstick is actually from Lisa Eldridge. It's called Velvet Ribbon. This is a beautiful, beautiful red for the holiday, coming into New Year's Eve and all these types of really fancy holiday parties. I've been wearing this a ton. It just makes your lips look super gorgeous, and it actually has more of like a velvet matte texture, but it's really comfortable on the lips. I don't find that it overly dries or clings or settles into lines at all. It's just one that's really beautiful. And Lisa's formulation is kind of on the unique side. It's got that velvetyness that I haven't seen a lot of other brands replicate. Her formula stands out in the industry, and it's also one that's really comfortable for those of us that are kind of turned off of pure mattes. This is one that for me, I just love it because it looks like that matte look, but has just enough of that silkiness, like that velvet bit, to really feel like you don't have lipstick on. So I really love that. And it's also so opaque and so pigmented, you can tell. And when I do apply this, I can do with or without lip liner, but the lip liner that I do use, if you guys are interested in one that's really good for bold reds, is actually Pat McGrath's Blood Lust. This is actually really nice. It complements the Lisa Eldridge one perfectly. It also complements my other favorite bold red, which is Elson by Pat McGrath Labs. So both of them are fantastic if you're looking for that gorgeous bold red. My next favorite has to be the Velour Lashes I've been wearing consistently in all of my videos. You guys have seen and have noticed that my eye looks have been a little bit more amplified lately, and that's because I've been applying lashes as well as doing eyeshadow underneath the bottom lid. That's not something that I typically did beforehand, and I've been loving it. I really love these lashes. They're super easy to work with. I have two favorite styles. One is called For Real Though, the other one is called Would I Lie, and I actually just use their white adhesive glue and a set of tweezers to actually put them on. I almost called them forceps for those of you that are nurses. Like, what? That just came out of nowhere. But the Velour Lashes has two different adhesives. One is white that actually sort of goes and settles to a transparent. The other one is black, which I think is supposed to be like a liner. It's not the magnetic one. It's one that's just glue, but it's very opaquely black. I've actually tried that, and to be honest, I have fumbled with it a ton because I'm not like perfectly consistent at applying lashes yet. Sometimes it takes me a few tries, or like it won't perfectly lay on the lid. I'll have to like reapply it or something just to kind of line it up right. I think the black is more so for experts. If you are an expert, you'll probably be fine. But if you do mess up with the black glue, then it starts to trail all over your lid. So no, just if you're practicing, get the white, like the transparent one in this tube. It's like my best tip, I'm telling you. Anyway, I've been really liking these lashes. They are on the pricier side, so I've been trying to find ways to reuse them so much so that I can get my money's worth. If you guys have any tips on how to get rid of the buildup of the glue or any like fluffies on the lashes, by all means, I'm definitely testing some new things to see how can I make the best use of keeping these lashes nice and fresh for as long as possible. So definitely my favorite brand is Velour, and they have been killing it for my lash game. My next favorite is actually a surprise perfume that my husband got me on one of our recent trips. And this is one I had my eye on for a while, but it's been kind of hard to get this in Canada. I think now Shoppers Drug Mart is carrying this one, thank goodness, because it's been missing in my life and I love it. This is the Tiffany and Co Perfume. This one is called Tiffany and Love Eau de Parfum. There is another one that isn't quite my taste, but this one, as soon as I smelled it, I was like, what the heck? This is amazing. It smells gorgeous. It has that really nice like fruity element of the grapefruit, kind of like basil-y and like spicy on the top. Like it's really, really nice. If you're into those types of fragrances, I think you're going to love this. Has like neroli a little bit floral underneath, a little woody underneath, but quite a really nice surprise. Love the details in the bottle. This is so, so beautiful. I just think this is great. This is definitely their best perfume, at least. I know there's another one that there's a lot of fans of as well, but this is definitely my favorite. Like, I don't know what it is, but this one is my favorite. Next, I want to talk about the Clé de Peau foundation that I recently discovered in the last month or so. It actually went viral on TikTok, I believe, and I was like, no way is this like super expensive, but claims to be this radiant, beautiful finish on the skin. So I did end up picking it up and testing it. I really just wanted to report back to you guys and be like, is this trendy, worth the hype, or just like a major flop, basically? This is one that I love, you guys. Love, love, love this one. I think it's so beautiful. This is one that I will say my biggest tip is to have a moisturized base underneath this, just to make sure your skin is nice and hydrated, because even though this one looks beautiful on the skin and really seeps in, glides over any texture, doesn't emphasize anything, just settles down beautifully, this is one that doesn't have a ton of product in it, so like, I think it's just shy of a fluid ounce. It's like 0.88 of a fluid ounce. So that kind of sucks because it is pricier. Like, I'm like, guys, what the heck? Like, why though? Because it's in this tube, I feel like I can take a lot out. If I need to, I can just cut this open. Like, I will get every square bit of this out. I promise you. Otherwise, it settles down, looks so beautiful, doesn't really look cakey or anything, and a little goes a really long way. So that's what I like about this, because it forces me to be a little bit more conservative with applying this because of how little the amount of product there is. I don't like that. I don't like it for the cost perspective alone. I just think that's not fair, but I really do like how this has this really easy applicator. You just squeeze it out of the tube there and it looks luxurious, feels luxurious on the skin. The only thing is there is fragrance. There's significant fragrance, I would say. Yeah, like it's definitely there. So like if you guys are really wanting a fragrance-free foundation, I think this will bother you, especially if you have skin irritation. So for those of you that do have that, I would stay away. But if you don't have that, this is really worth the splurge, in my opinion. It does not beat my La Mer Soft Fluid. That's for sure. I know that's going to be a question I'm going to get, but this is still a really lovely one that I have been enjoying. I will definitely use it up in its entirety. I'm sure of it. And I'm actually really glad that I discovered it. So I'm excited to test out more from Clé de Peau. The last thing I wanted to add at the end of these favorites was actually two things I got for Christmas that are more on the lifestyle side of things. So I figured I would talk about them because I'm really obsessed and maybe you guys would like it too. So I'm going to share with you guys, my hubby got me these gorgeous blush wine glasses. These are so beautiful, aren't they? Like, they're amazing. This is a company called Estelle. They actually make a lot of very beautiful colored wine glasses. There's so many. I'm actually going to show you guys a picture of the set of 6 that I got. But on the website, there are quite a bit of color options. There's green, there's blue, there's a really nice amber smoke shade. They don't just make glassware, they also have like cake stands and things like that, which is super cool. Very similar kind of like glass design with that really light wash of color. So this is the shade Blush. This is the blush one. It's very, very beautiful. So I'm happy I got these. This has been on my wish list forever, and my hubby actually picked them up for me for Christmas, so that was so nice. And the last thing he got me, which is also a favorite this month, is actually from Missouri, I think is how you say it. This is a brand I have been really excited to try. They did gift me a piece of jewelry for PR this past holiday. It was like this really beautiful, dainty bracelet. And then I saw these gorgeous earrings. They're so small. I'm going to show you a very zoomed in photo of these as well, but these are so dainty. They're so delicate and beautiful. They have gold with really gorgeous diamonds on it. The detail on these is going to be hard to pick up unless I show you that picture, but they're so gorgeous. And I know they had this really nice sale that was going on. It was like just before Christmas, and I dropped a little hint to my hubby. I was like, Missouri has a sale. So now's the time if you want to get anything. I think it was like 20% off or something. So that's what I got, and I'm actually going to wear them in my next videos coming up, so you'll be able to see them in action. But I think, you guys, this has to be the end of this video because it was so fun to film, but I am losing my voice again. Back to my tea. Do let me know your thoughts on all of these products and what your best December makeup was. I also wanted to quickly end with a huge thank you for 50,000 subscribers. That was my goal for the end of this year, and we hit it. So nice. Like, it's kind of surreal that that many people are subscribed to my videos. Just think about that. Like, tangibly, 50,000. Isn't that like Wembley Stadium or something? I better fact check that. Okay, I was a little shy. Wembley Stadium can seat up to 90,000, so oops. Either way, that is a huge number, and I'm so grateful for all of you. So thank you so much for a lovely 2021, and I'm so excited for 2022 coming up very soon. Until my next one, guys, hope you have a happy new year. I'm gonna do one more video before the year is done, so don't forget to look out for that, and we will chat soon. Bye, guys.